Hey y'all, welcome to Brianna's Bachelor Breakdown. Today I'm going to be talking about week 2, part 2. There will be timestamps in the description so you can shift around in the video as you would like. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we open up the episode and the cast finds this boombox that says open me or play me or something like that. And out pops this NSYNC song. Everyone is jamming, dancing. I thought it was really cute. It was like kind of a different break from like the drama and stuff, just to see everyone like having fun, bonding over a shared memory that, everyone has of pop culture. I love seeing like everyone in their little confessionals jamming along to the song. And then out pops Lance Bass, and he's our new celebrity guest host for however many episodes. I kind of personally felt as though I have been seeing him a lot because I don't know if anyone else watches The Circle, but I watched the season 2 a few months ago, and of course we had Lisa, his personal assistant, on there. So even though he wasn't there, I still felt like he was there. And I don't know, it was just a lot of Lance Bass. It felt like more than I've ever had in my life because I wasn't really like an NSYNC fan too much when I was a kid. I never really got into them. Also, I couldn't help but like, just because I felt like I did get to know Lisa on The Circle, I couldn't help but think like, as his personal assistant, I wonder if she arranged this like Bachelor gig for him. Just random thoughts that I had. But anyway, moving on. Lance Bass is the host. I kind of like him. I liked David Spade as well because he was like very dry, sarcastic humor. But I like the Lance. He's getting the tea from the girls. We've never seen a host be really involved with the cast before. Chris Harrison would sometimes have his one-on-one chit chats with like the lead or someone, but they would always be like very serious and very just like to the point, matter of fact. He didn't really show a lot of emotion. He was just kind of a sounding board. But I like that Lance Bass was really trying to get the tea, give his opinion, see what was going on. It felt like he wanted to be there. Whereas David Spade, it kind of felt like he was just David Spade in Paradise. Like he didn't really try to blend in and see what was going on. Lance Bass is more like he's trying to get into the vibe of Paradise and not necessarily make it about him, but make it about hosting the show well. So, out of these two, if I had to pick right now, I'd pick Lance Bass. So then, the guys, they start getting anxious about Thomas rolling up. Aaron, especially, his one-liners are just so hilarious to me because this man wakes up and he chooses violence every single day. He is not ashamed of it. He knows it. He is here for it. Some of his lines that stuck out to me, he was like, if I were to be able to see Thomas and I got to rearrange his jaw, that'd be me doing the Lord's work. And then he also was like, if I see Thomas, it's going to send me into an active rage as opposed to a passive rage, I guess, like specifically an active rage. So he's just hilarious. We already have the other union members of James and Tre on board to be anti-Thomas, and the other guys who are not from Katie's season, Aaron is trying to round them up and makes them see that he is the walking devil as well. Anyway, Thomas rolls up. All the girls, despite what they've heard from Katie's guys, they're like, listen, this is an attractive man. I want to see what he's talking about because he is too cute not to give the time of day. Okay, so everyone is here, chit-chat with him. I get it. I feel like I too, even though I have seen Katie's season, obviously I feel like if I saw Thomas and he were to approach me, I'd be like, yes, whatever you want to talk about, I'm available, I'm ready. Like, I get it. I really get it. I also like that Thomas, he kind of came in with an upbeat vibe. Like, obviously he knows coming into the beach, a lot of people don't like him, but I like that he didn't necessarily let that get to him. He came in positive, smiling. He wasn't necessarily focused on the drama. He knew that it was there, but he kept his eyes on the prize. He is championing this idea that he has so much love to give, and he's just really there to find someone for him. And it's just an interesting perspective, I think, that he has of himself, because I don't think we ever really got to know Thomas in Katie's season because so much of his short screen time was taken up by the drama that we didn't really get to know what his true personality was and what he thinks of himself, what his goals, his morals are. that's not to say that I completely buy that, because I do think that there is some truth to what the guys are saying. I'm on the fence. I'm on no one's side. I'm on the side of whoever gives me the most tea. It was just interesting. And I like that he didn't come in kind of pressed about the guys. He came in, ready to mix and mingle with the girls. So he's talking to everybody, and ultimately he decides to take Serena P on a date. And it was kind of a random pairing in my opinion, but I just went with it. A lot of the guys seem into her this season, which I get. She's a cool girl. And so Serena went over to check in with Joe before she went on her one-on-one, which is something that I really appreciated, just because I feel like it's an example. It's what I wish all of the people who are already coupled up would do, or should do, if they're feeling the person that they're previously coupled up with. If you're not feeling them, obviously no need to check in with them. But I felt like that was something that Brendan could have done. I felt like later on that's something Maurissa could have done. I mean, and even if you are not feeling them, I think it's just common courtesy, because you were spending time with them and they also gave you some of their time. So I think it's just polite, and I think that is something that I wish other people would exercise and practice. But nevertheless, Joe spends the whole day as a beached whale again. Very relatable mood. I get it. I'd probably be doing the same thing. So he's down in the dumps, and we'll check back in with him later. So Serena and Thomas, they go on their dates. They have a tubing adventure experience in the beach, in the ocean. It looks like a lot of fun. Honestly, I feel like I would just want to go on Paradise just for the dates. Like, I love water sports, water-themed dates. Like, I would just be there to try to get everyone's date card, because it looks like a lot of fun. So they do that. They're making out in the ocean. They come back. They're sitting down, having some juice, I guess, wine probably. And Serena asks him, what's actually going on? Fill me in on what actually happened on your season. Who is Thomas? What do I need to know? And so Thomas breaks it down. He kind of first goes into Tre, and he says that he sees Tre as someone who is a little brother to him, and he needs a lot of love and support, which was news. It was news to me. Because even before, I guess, Thomas made all the enemies that he did, I never really saw him as friends with anyone. I felt like he was just kind of there minding his business until people got annoyed with him, right? I didn't feel like he and Tre had a bond, at least that was caught on camera. So maybe it's like a Greg type situation where what's going on in his mind doesn't always translate well to his actions or his words. Maybe he felt some sort of brotherly affection for Tre from afar. But either way, it was just kind of weird the way he was describing it. It was a little patronizing, because they're probably the same age. So if one of my peers were saying, oh, I see Brianna as like a little sister, unless you're like, I don't know, 20 steps ahead of me in your career and we're the same age, I don't know, it would not be appropriate for you to have that sentiment. So that was weird. And then he goes on to say that he feels like Tre that Tre is not emotionally strong. And that really came out of the blue for me, because Tre has never exhibited any qualities to me that make me be like, oh, this man is immature. He doesn't know how to handle situations. I feel like sometimes he gets anxious and kind of rushes through his words and like says a lot of stuff without like pausing, but that's not necessarily a sign of immaturity. I think it's a sign that you're on national television and you know that people are going to pick apart your words the next day on Twitter. Either way, that's what he says. He also describes that, he got in Aaron's way on a group date one time when he saw Katie twice, when everyone else either saw her once or didn't get as much time with her as he did. Something else that was like kind of weird to me about how Thomas was kind of like describing this whole situation was he didn't have any emotion when he was describing this. Like, this defined his whole season on Katie's season. Like, this is what Bachelor Nation knows him for. This is what Aaron and the Union knows him for. This is the impression that the other girls on Paradise have. Like, and he was just so matter of fact. Like, he could have been reading a history report. Like, he just didn't, it didn't sound as though he was invested or that he felt any type of way about the situation. He was just kind of like, yeah, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. It was just weird. He seemed very disengaged and as though he was a third party in his own situation. So anyways, he, tells Serena what's going on. They finish up their date. They go back. Serena grabs Joe, which, number 2, this is another positive sign for their relationship because as we saw last night, Brendan did not take that same initiative. He was not moving with a sense of urgency to go find Natasha when he came back from the date. And I like that Serena, she knew that Joe had been waiting for her all day on the beach. She wasted no time in catching up with her man. So that's something that was nice to see. She informed Joe that, she was not going to be pursuing Thomas anymore. She felt like she did not want to be caught up in the drama, which honestly is fair. I get it. And it was just, Joe, he was like, oh, I knew that would happen. And it was just kind of cute to see that. I felt like it's when you send a risky text to your crush and you send it, I don't know, maybe at the beginning of the workday or something, and they're off their phone all day and you're just pacing around in your mind and you're like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have sent that text. Can I delete the text? Can I unsend it? They hate me. They deleted my contacts already. You're just making up all these stories in your mind, and then they finally get back to you and they return with the same energy, and then all your anxieties and worries fade away and you're like, yes, here we are. I knew this would happen. I felt like it was that same mood, so I was just really happy for them to be able to get back on the same page. Then we have, going back in the day a little bit, Riley rolls up to the beach in the afternoon. He is just charging in with his biceps, taking up the whole screen. I don't know if he just didn't have this big of biceps on Tayshia's season, or maybe because it was winter, I guess. It wasn't winter. I don't know. I don't remember seeing this. I don't know if he went home and just spent every day until the gym up until his flight to paradise. I don't know what's going on, or if I just can't see. But Riley was there with his biceps. All the girls again were into him, especially Tahzjuan. She was super flustered, very schoolgirl crush type of vibe, not able to talk. But Riley, he was commanding the room. I was a little bit he said, Taj, come down here. I want to meet you. Guys, you can go away. He was putting everyone in their places, arranging the scene how he wanted. He stepped in and said, I am here. I'm on the beach now, and this is how it's going to go. So I wasn't mad at it. He also hits it off with Maurissa, who is fascinating to me. I did not know that she was from Montana. I'm always just so amazed by Black people who are from these super duper random rural states that. I don't know why. That's just so interesting to me because you never hear of that. So she's from Montana. That's not really crucial to her storyline. That's just a fact that was interesting to me. She also has never been on a date, which I feel like she's one of those girls who's obviously so beautiful that I feel like when she said that, everyone is just kind of you? How? She's so pretty. So that's what's going on with Maurissa. She and Riley are having a good time. And then Tahzjuan also gets the opportunity to talk to Riley. Sis lays it on the line. She lets Riley know what is going on. She leaves no room for questions, which is fine. I felt like if you were watching Tayshia's season, you decided that's who you have your sights set on, okay. But I hope that she is able to come with some sort of finesse when the season plays back. If she and Tre are still together, I hope that she took the time between now and then to figure out how she's going to dig herself out of how loudly she broadcasted that she was there for Riley and only Riley. And unfortunately, he did not even pick her, so that's awkward for her and awkward for Tre. But Riley picks Maurissa and they go on their date, and we'll circle back to that a little bit later. So then we go into the evening mix and mingle portion. Tahzjuan is over there talking to Thomas at the bar. Side note, she looks super cute in her pink top, pink top and skirt. I felt like this season, because everyone's in bathing suits 95% of the time, I don't really get my feel of fashion critiques and like seeing what everyone's wearing on the beach. So it was nice to see like an actual like everyday outfit that was like super cute. The color worked really well with her skin tone. I think dark skin tones do really well with like pop out like colors, like brighter colors, or just like a really strong pink shade of pink like she had on. So I was here for it, but the point of me mentioning this is that she was talking to Thomas. She was telling him about how the guys are perceiving him, trying to warn him about how hard it was gonna be for him, you know, rolling in with everyone kind of on his bad side already. And obviously this is information Thomas already knows. So then the guys from Katie's season pulled Thomas aside to have a little chit chat. Also, side note, I felt like, you know, obviously Carl was another mini villain in Katie's season, and I felt like the guys, Aaron and the Union, are able to unite against the common enemy of Thomas and kind of forget about Carl for a minute. I feel like everyone's kind of like over the Carl drama. He's accepted into the guys and the larger group now. It's as though his drama didn't even happen because Thomas is just like this overarching villain that takes up space rent-free in everyone's mind. So I'm sure he's happy to not have that spotlight on him this season. But anyways, Thomas goes over to talk to the guys from Katie's season. They're sitting on the day beds and they're asking Thomas, you know, how did things go with Serena? And Thomas explains, you know, why she wasn't feeling him. And I feel like the guys are trying to make it evident to Thomas that they think that drama, you know, follows him around and that it's going to continue to affect his relationships if he doesn't clean up his act. Like, obviously, he didn't go as far as he had the potential to on Katie's season, because if we remember, she said that she, at one point, was thinking of Thomas for hometowns. So, she was thinking of this man for Final Four, and he got cut, like, week 3, week 4. So, clearly, Thomas's drama, or his involvement in the drama, is dampening his relationships. And I feel like the guys, in a weird way, are looking out for him, I guess. I don't think that's their intention. I take that back. They're not trying to look out for him. But by emphasizing how much drama he has, it should serve him positively. He should be able to take some sort of constructive criticism from this feedback. That's what I will say. Anyway, they go over that, and then Thomas apologizes to the guys. And one thing that I liked about his apology, I don't know how sincere it was, to be honest, but one thing that I liked about it was he was able to name his actions. He said, Aaron, this is what I did to you. James, Tre. Like, he named everyone, named an action or an encounter that they had in Katie's season, and that's something I really appreciated because I feel like that's a key part of a sincere apology. Like I said, I don't know truly where it's coming from because Thomas is very hard to read, but on paper it sounded good, and I was kind of like, okay, all right, let me see what we're working with. And Thomas committed to, you know, improving his actions for the rest of the season because Aaron said, I need space, and Tre was ready to forgive. So then, fast forward to Serena spilling the tea with everyone about what Thomas said to her on the date, and Tre gets wind of that. Emotions do a 180. He is salty. He goes up to Thomas, says, I don't like that you had my name in your mouth. You said all these untrue things about me, my emotional maturity. This is the last conversation we'll ever have. Done. Some people, I felt like on Twitter I saw were saying that was an immature way for Tre to handle that situation, and that's just proves Thomas's point of his lack of emotional maturity. But I don't know. I didn't mind the conversation. Of course, it could have been handled in a calmer way, I guess, but I think he was just like really caught up in his emotions. I also think that, you know, there's not, to quote Victoria P., setting a healthy boundary. Like, there's nothing wrong with walking away from a situation that you realize is not serving you. You've tried to make peace with this person, and you hear that they still have your name in their mouth. And I mean, he was not friends with Thomas. I felt like if he and Thomas had a friendship and Thomas kind of betrayed him in some way, then maybe Tre would owe him more of a sit-down conversation, hash things out. But they had not been friends from the jump. They're not friends now. So he doesn't necessarily owe someone that he's made it clear that he doesn't like. For the whole time that they've known each other, he doesn't really owe that person an explanation or a conversation. So I wasn't mad at it, but I can understand why some people might be like, oh, well, you know, he could have handled that differently. Because there's always a way to handle something in a more calm manner. So then we move into our final date of the night. Maurissa and Connor, she comes out. She's looking good in her, like, cheetah print dress outfit. And everyone is noticing. Everyone is taking note. Connor gets some advice that he should go check in with her prior to leaving on her date. And sis is already checked out. She barely acknowledges this man. I feel like he's just kind of like a little pesky, like, bird at her elbow trying to get a word in, and she's just like staring through him, not responding to him. Like, as Noah said in his confessional, like she's already gone. And then Connor spends the rest of the night trying to convince everyone, including himself, that he's fine with it. He sings his little sad boy songs. And I feel bad for him because he's a sweet guy. And though I liked him and Maurissa together, like I said in my first video, I don't know Maurissa. I don't know her personality because she was cut so quickly from Peter's season. So I thought they looked cute together, her and Connor. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know Marissa's personality. I can't 100% say that this is the match for her because I just need to get to know her a little bit better to know if they are a good match. And so I feel like it's fair for her to continue to explore. And I feel like after seeing her date with Riley, of course, that's a better date for her. Spoiler alert. Or a better connection for her. So I'm not mad at it, but I do think she could have, hopefully, next episode, she'll have some sort of resolution or conclusion with Connor and not just, like, leave him hanging without any sort of, you know, confirmation of what's going on, how she's going to be pursuing other people, because, I mean, he at least deserves that. They have spent, like, a few days together. He gave her his rose, so, like, he deserves some sort of chit-chat. But I don't think she needs to stay with him if she doesn't want to. So anyways, they go on their date. Lance Bass is hosting it. It's fun. A little truth or dare, with the dare being, like, eating weird food items. I thought it was a very playful date. I liked their energy. The questions got more sexual as time moved on. And eventually they just, like, forgot about the date entirely. I loved Lance's little confessional where he was like, I didn't know what to do when they were kissing. Like, I feel like that's such a mood. I probably would have had the same reaction. I would have been looking at my producer like, we done? Like, another couple that we see check in with each other is Tahzjuan and Tre. So they sit down. Obviously, there's an elephant in the room with, like, you know, Taj getting kind of salty that Riley didn't pick her, Tre noticing that. And it was a weird conversation, not even gonna lie. Because they were both like, oh, I wanted to check in with you. I wanted to see what your thoughts were. I was waiting for you to approach me. Like, they were both kind of, like, putting it on the other person, in a sense. When I personally believe it was Taj's responsibility to initiate that conversation, because she was the one that was so visibly upset that this other man did not pick her. But they played that little roundabout dance in their conversation for a minute. And then Tre finally says, you know what? I'm just gonna, let me confirm. I'm still interested in you. I still want to pursue you. Da-da-da-da. And I feel like Tahzjuan, she does reciprocate that. She says, you know, whatever, I'm still here for you too. Da-da-da. But I think I would have preferred that she acknowledged it and just said, hey, you know what? Like, I did have my eye on Riley from Tayshia's season when I watched it. I did not necessarily know that you were going to be here on the beach, and I'm excited that we've made this connection and I'm still interested in it, but I was looking forward to meeting him. Like, I just wish she would have been open. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It doesn't have to, like, you know, tear apart their relationship. But I would have liked to see a little bit more transparency so that Tre can at least know for himself that was what was going on and that he wasn't essentially, like, reading into things too much. Maurissa and Riley go to have their, like, little one-on-one dinner portion section, and they're having a super fun conversation, just talking about how they both want kids, want a huge family. And then Maurissa opens up to us a little bit and tells us that she got a little lost herself and lost her confidence in a previous relationship. It was to the point where she ended up gaining a lot of weight, and she experienced fat phobia from like society and also people that she knew personally and trusted. So I appreciated that story. I'm glad that she felt comfortable enough with Riley already to kind of share that. And he had like a fine response, I guess. Like, I mean, it was cool, but I feel like a lot of times when someone shares a story about them like gaining weight, a lot of times people's response is like, oh, but you're so beautiful. Like, you're beautiful inside and out. Like, I would never think that or say that about you. And number one, like, I just don't like when people, this is just a personal problem I have, but I don't like when people compliment you about something that they don't have the evidence to compliment you on, right? Like, he acknowledged, he said, I did not know you then. So he does not know that he would have found her beautiful at that time. And I'm not saying that she was not beautiful, but I just don't like when people give you just compliments that are just grounded in nothing. Like, you have no evidence to confirm that. And I think at society, we're just so trained to like counter people's feelings of like insecurity about their weight. We're just so ingrained in our minds, feel like, oh, you're beautiful, like size doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. And to only focus on like the outer beauty of things. So I'm not necessarily calling Riley out specifically, and I don't think that he had a wrong response to this, but I would like to see a conversation, and it doesn't have to be between them, but I would like for the media to show more conversations in which someone tells a similar story and the response is, oh, okay, like, how is your mental health after that experience that you had? How did that affect you? Like, how are you feeling now? Like, what are you doing to maintain your self-confidence now? Like, I would like to have a conversation more focused on the internal side of things and how that affects you, as opposed to, like, just going to, like, the literal surface level and only commenting on someone's, like, outer appearance. So that's my 2 cents on the conversation. But again, that's not to call out Riley. I don't think he had a wrong response, and that does not take away the beauty of their relationship. I think they look great together. They have such good, energy. They were able to have a functional conversation, and also obviously had a sexual connection. I feel like I don't remember this boom boom room on The Bachelor. I don't know if like I just don't have a memory or if this is like legitimately new. Because I feel like The Bachelor is always a more like clean reality show, at least out of the ones that I typically frequent. I feel like a boom boom room is something I'm used to seeing on like MTV type dating shows, but I'm here for it. Like I said, the more tea, the better. The more scandalous, the more controversy, I'm here for it. I want to know all the details. So we see that they go there, and we'll just have to see next week what happens. It looks like Connor is going to get some sad news about that. What did you think of Tahzjuan and Tre? What did you think of Maurissa and Riley? How do you think things will turn out for Connor? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you back here next week.